Well, you really got me on this one, Internet. Hope you guys are all happy. Looks like I got a heck of a lot of work coming out my way. Is my life just like a big joke on here on the Internet? Is that what it is? Dan here, the Speed Shop. So, you guys really got me on this one. The old Chevy 2. So we have been getting hounded about how I overpaid for this pile of junk hot rod, which is not wrong, but I like it. Anyways, this is all now your guys' fault where we're headed with this thing. So we got her basically roadworthy. We got to do a little bit more work to it. The upcoming videos will be finishing off the front end, some steering, bolting on the seats. Maybe I'll put the glass in if the rubber ever shows up. You know, go through lights, all the little odds and ends, right? Maybe even put a piece of trim on it or two. Anyways, here's what happened. We went to power tour. Everything was good there. And along the way, we're talking about how we need to have a U.S. vehicle. And we're kind of playing around with what we should put down there and this and that and yada, yada, yada. Well, while we're down there, Danielle comes up with a great idea that she wants to have a drag and drive car. I was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. I mostly blame Alex Taylor for that somehow. They were talking. And so I'm talking to her, well, what do you want to build and this and that? Do you want to try 5 Chevy or whatever? And then I started showing her pictures of little Chevy 2 old race cars. And she was right into it, a little, gasser kind of deal. Well, then wouldn't you know it, it was like the perfect storm. So we're down a power tour. Danny decides she wants a race car. We already own the car, so that saves me a few bucks. Talking to the Speedway guys, they're great to deal with and super helpful and have all sorts of ideas and stuff like that. So Speedway's a slippery slope. They have everything you could possibly need. And to boot, while we were down there, we sold like t-shirts and freaking stickers, and you guys bought all of it, which I wasn't expecting. So we had a few extra shekels in the old bank account. So what better thing to do than waste that money on an already overpriced hot rod? So I was just writing all this stuff anyway. So the plan is to kind of do a little, well, honestly, a drag and drive car is kind of what we need because we need to be able to drive it. And Danny wants to have a little bit of fun with dragging it. So there you go. I'm zero interest in drag racing. It's not really my deal, obviously. We don't have anything super fast. We like just kind of working on hot rods, saving them, doing burnouts, and on to the next one. It's a pretty simple lifestyle we lead. But, as the channel grows and more people watch and we have more support and ultimately a few more dollars, we've started kind of building nicer cars. And that Nomad was an unbelievable learning process of going down to power tour in it. So there was some pretty big dollar parts in that thing with the overdrive transmission and the rear end and all this kind of stuff we did to that. But being able to just drive down, the freedom of not having to deal with a truck and a trailer and screwing around and all that sort of stuff, it was so nice. It saved money on the travel, obviously. And then the freedom of just being able to go wherever you wanted, not have to go back to point A if you're over here with the car and all those sort of things. I just absolutely love that. So was it more money up front? Yes, but I think long term it actually will kind of work its way out. So it's kind of a catch-22. Hotels are not cheap, especially when you're paying in Canadian funds. So, the fewer we can take of those and just make, more miles per day and all that, it really works out. Anyway, the plan is now this is to turn it into something we can drive and then, Danny can race it if she so chooses, if she doesn't lose interest. So we did a few videos ago, I have a solid lifter 327, which I thought would be cool in this thing. I have fender well headers, we have a tunnel ram, we got a lot of that stuff. We have a turbo 350 built with a shift kit that was originally in the Nomad when I first had it. So it's brand new transmission, ready to go. So we kind of have the driveline-ish ready to go. And man, you get on the phone with Speedway and they can sure fill your cart up with a bunch of really cool parts. So I guess this is the point to say I pulled the trigger and I've ordered the gasser stuff for this thing. Now, I love the gasser look. I know a lot of people are doing it and all those sort of things. I've had a lot of, kind of Tri-5 Chevys there with a nose high and all that sort of stuff, but never done a true straight axle, real nose high kind of, over the top kind of car. And that's what this old girl's going to be. Who'd have thought when some little old lady picked up this 64 base model Nova Chevy 2 6-cylinder automatic with a little bit of trim that it would be badass hot rod many, many years later. So I ordered the heavy duty front axle kit with disc brakes and all that. So that'll be pretty neat. Now I'm excited to do all these things because I've never done that. And it's like a bolt-on kit, so that's pretty sweet. They have a 9-inch for it. So we're gonna put that in there. I ordered leaf springs and some sort of like a traction bar setup and all that. So it was definitely a few dollars, but again, the time being able to slap it together and go will be absolutely fantastic. The last thing I'm just trying to figure out right now, well, there's a few little things. I got to get some sort of cooling system. We got to figure out carburetors. And I just talked to the great people at Gear Vendors, and I made a deal on one of those. They're not giving it away, and but they're a good unit. I'm excited to have that, and I really had to get that under control to figure out the gear ratio we're going to put in the back, obviously for the driving and whatnot. So we have kind of all the building blocks to make this thing pretty freaking cool in a short amount of time. We're going to build it, we're going to get on the road, we're going to get it tagged and all that, and then hopefully by then, a couple weeks from now, all the parts will start showing up, and then it's going to be like a mad thrash to get this thing together, because we've booked hotels and booked time off, booked a dog sitter, the whole deal for Cruising the Coast, which is October 1st. Danny's birthday. If you see her, make sure you tell her. And the plan is we're gonna drive down there. So we're gonna drive. I'm gonna drive down to Atlanta, visit some friends there, Newbern and all that, and then we're gonna cruise on down. So it'll be like 30 some hours of driving in a 64 Chevy 2 gasser 327. Radius wheel wells, obviously, and yeah, so that's the plan with this thing. So we've got her mostly together. There'll be a couple videos yet, and then we'll kind of go from there. Now, well, so I was writing a few things down here. So that's kind of the plan in a nutshell. So I'm really excited about it. I gotta say, I hope you guys are as well. It's gonna be another. I'm gonna say like a budget-ish kind of car, and kind of, slamming parts together and all that, but spending money in the important areas. The gasser front end kit, a Ford 9-inch, and then the gear vendor. And some of these things now, you just can't lose. Like driving that Nomad for hours on end in overdrive and saving all the fuel and being able to cruise was so nice. So it makes the car much more drivable. And let's be honest, everybody could use all this stuff. So that's the plan with that. Now here's where you guys come in. We want to get some plans together as to how we're going to portray this thing. So obviously it's going to stay this kind of beigey white. Originally in my head, I had it where we would kind of, paint it up. Joe, my buddy there, design painter, would maybe do some like just white on it. So it'd be kind of like understated. But now that it's going to be nose high, I'm going to radius the wheel wells. I want to run, it's going to sound funny, but like a 275/60, which is only a 28/10 wide tire, is going to seem ginormous. Speedway's calling right now. I'll be right back. I'm back. Shipping to Canada. If you can avoid it, I recommend it. Anyways, we're confirmed stuff is coming out this week by the sounds of it. So that's pretty freaking exciting. I love new parts. Who wouldn't? So back to that, naming the car and lettering up the car and doing all that stuff. So, we've done a few different things now. My Black 57, we kind of did like a Black Widow NASCAR. The Nomad was kind of like, a bit of a gassery type kind of vibe on it. And ultimately, I'd like to do one more like this, but I'm kind of drawing a blank as to what we should do and what we should name the car. And that's where you people come in, because honestly, one of you guys is the one that came up with the idea around for the So Mad Nomad. Kind of gave us the base idea, and then we added to it a little bit and all those sort of things. So I've talked to my buddy Joe. I've got him booked for a couple of days in September to work on this thing, but it's going to stay this kind of ratty, beigey kind of color. And and what can we add to it? So I mean, it's literally a blank canvas at this point. It's like a blank, loosely piece of paper. We're gonna keep all the glass in it. We're, you know, radius the wheel well a little bit because I like the way that looks. Like I said, a 275 2810 is gonna look giant on this thing, which is just cracks me up. A regular muscle car tire looks like a slick on a little tiny car like this. It'll have the nose high look. I don't want it to be to the moon. We might pull a leaf out or do a little messing around with that, so it's kind of a little bit more drivable. I'm obsessed with those Mickey Thompson tires. I gotta say, they were not cheap, but those SS's, those things made it through all of Power Tour, running over tires. I ran over a set of jumper cables, and I didn't have a flat. I mean, knock on wood here, but they were great. They didn't melt right through, and I bought those like retail from the store, so that's how you know they're good. I'm happy about it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anything else you guys can think of or whatever? I always appreciate all the comments, even the bad ones. They are a lot of times my favorite. But naming the frickin' car, and I'm just drawing a blank on this. And I know I tried talking to Danny about it, and it's just pink this and sparkles that, and I was like, we're not doing that. It's her car, but I still want it to look cool because I have a little attachment to it. So there you are. That's the plan with this hot rod. A bunch of parts showed up today, actually, from Rock Auto, stuff I'd ordered previously. So we're gonna get this thing hopefully dialed in the next 7 or 8 days. A lot of wrenching on it until it's ready to drive, hit the road, and then it's a matter of stacking parts up on the side here until all the stuff is here, and I want to just rip this thing apart and like gasser it overnight. We have set motor, trans, everything ready to go, and then little stuff. You know, hit my buddy for the drive shaft in a hurry, figure out a radiator, all those kind of little bits and bobs, but I'm excited. I'm really excited to work on this thing. Hopefully you guys are excited to watch me struggle to work on this thing, and we'll go from there. So make sure you leave a comment with what you think. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hopefully you'll be supportive for the next few weeks to a month while I thrash on basically just this. Should be a fun time.